Heartwarming transformation. Girl S incredible plea unveils hidden millionaire S life-changing secrets. In the idyllic town of Maplewood, where autumn leaves danced like flames in the crisp breeze and laughter filled the air, 12-year-old Lucy sat outside the beloved Sarah's diner. Thick fog of worry crept into her heart as she watched her mom, Sarah, wipe her brow and serve customers with a weary smile. The diner, a cornerstone of their community, struggled against rising rents, and Sarah's health was faltering after a recent accident. Lucy admired her mother's grit but felt the weight of impending doom pressing down. The diner wasn't just a business. It was a lifeline holding countless memories of joyful meals, warm hugs, and neighborly support. One chilly afternoon, as Lucy hurried through town with a list of errands, she crossed paths with Mr. Thompson, the town's local curmudgeon. Clad in a faded jacket, he sat alone on a park bench, his scowl as fierce as the autumn chill. The townsfolk whispered about him, casting curious glances, but mostly afraid of his gruff demeanor. Yet Lucy saw something different. Maybe it was the echo of shadows in his eyes or the sadness hidden beneath his grumpy facade, but she felt an irresistible connection. As Lucy learned that the town was hosting a fundraiser to save Sarah's diner, a spark ignited within her. This was her chance, her moment to stand for her family, her community. That night, the town hall buzzed with colorful lights and laughter, but Lucy stood, heart pounding, ready to speak. On the makeshift stage, she looked out at the crowd, faces lit by hope, familiar and kind. "Everyone," she called, her voice trembling but strong. Sarah's diner isn't just a diner. We've shared birthdays, anniversaries, and first dates there. It's where we've laughed, cried, and grown together as a community. As she spoke, the room fell silent. Her words were like a gentle tide lapping at the shores of their hearts, stirring memories of joy and love. In that moment, Lucy's vulnerability revealed the bare truth, the raw desperation behind her mother's weary smile. If we don't come together to save it, we're not just losing a diner, we're losing a piece of who we are. The impact of her plea rippled through the crowd, and Lucy's eyes caught Mr. Thompson's gaze in the shadows. His expression was torn, caught between his solitude and the yearning to connect with the town he had once loved. He felt the tug of Lucy's sincerity, the weight of her hope pressing against his heart. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the crowd began to murmur, Lucy held her breath, waiting for them to respond. Mr. Thompson shifted uncomfortably, memories flooding back of a community he once fought for, of joy misplaced in time. In that electric moment, Lucy realized she wasn't just asking for help. She was igniting hope. Yet, uncertainty still hung like a storm cloud above her, threatening to drown her in fear. Would Mr. Thompson step into the light? Would he shake off the shadows that held him captive? The night closed around them, the warmth of community clashing with the coldness of his past. Lucy and Mr. Thompson shared a moment, a flicker of understanding passing between them that said everything might change, perhaps for the better. Who knew what tomorrow would hold? Hope lingered in the air, flickering like the diner's glowing neon sign, illuminating not just their past but the possibility of brighter days ahead. Mr. Thompson's heart raced as he weighed the enormity of the moment before him. Lucy's words danced around him like leaves in the autumn air, stirring within him a mix of nostalgia and longing. For years, he had wrapped himself in solitude, pushed away from the town he once loved but felt betrayed by. The rising hopes in Lucy's innocent plea broke through the icy shell surrounding his heart. Was it really possible to reconnect with that world again? He held tightly to the bench's edge, as if anchoring himself against the tide of rising emotion. Just as his resolve started to crumble, The first few claps echoed through the hall, hesitant but growing stronger. Faces turned not just to Lucy, but toward him, the town's disapproval lingering in the air like smoke. With each clap, he felt a strange weight lifting from his chest. The burden of being invisible began to fade, replaced with an urge to emerge from the shadows. "Lucy," someone called from the audience. "We're with you." Murmurs filled the room, swelling to a chorus of support. Each voice reinforced her courage, and it sparked something deep within Mr. Thompson. He could no longer sit idle. Gathering every nerve, he stood from that familiar bench, the one he had claimed as his fortress, his alibi for seclusion. Lucy's heart skipped as she saw him rise. He shuffled toward the stage, hands trembling, not from fear but from the urge to take a leap of faith. As he approached, the crowd quieted, their faces a mix of astonishment and curiosity. "What are you doing, Mr. Thompson?" someone whispered in disbelief. I remember when this diner was the heart of Maplewood," he croaked, his voice more raspy than he intended. "I remember laughing until my sides hurt with friends around a table. I remember belonging." Tears pricked Lucy's eyes. Each word from Mr. Thompson peeled back layers of doubt. He wasn't one to show emotion, yet here he was, bearing a spirit in front of everyone, standing alongside her. "This diner isn't just for food. It's a place for memories. And if it goes," he faltered, his past gripping him with regret, "it would be as if we were throwing away pieces of ourselves." The crowd held their breath, feeling the weight of his admission. A ripple of warmth stirred, as more townsfolk echoed words of encouragement. "We can help," shouted someone near the back. "Let's save Sarah's diner together." As applause erupted, hope sparked like fireworks in the night sky. Lucy could hardly contain the joy swelling in her chest. Mr. Thompson stepped back, a faint smile breaking across his weathered face. For the first time in years, he felt connected, alive in a community he thought forgotten him. But momentarily, doubts crept back in. Would there be enough support? Could they truly reopen the diner? Lucy glanced at her mother, who stood with tears in her eyes as she watched the scene unfold. It was evident that determination filled the halls, yet they needed more than just hope. They needed a plan. That night, something flickered inside Lucy, growing brighter with every minute. "We can't just hope for a miracle," she declared, glancing at Mr. Thompson. "We need to be the miracle." The room buzzed with chatter, ideas sparking like dried leaves set ablaze, and amidst the chaos, Lucy spotted a familiar face standing in the back, an opulent silhouette she recognized well. Her heart raced. Was it really him? Could it be? Could he be the key? She wondered, excitement swirling in her chest. What if he has a way to save the diner? And as the evening continued, one thought remained: would Mr. Thompson lead them towards the answer they all yearned for? And more importantly, could this community come together and shape their own destiny before it was too late? The chatter in the room grew louder as Lucy's gaze locked onto the figure Mark Taylor, the mysterious millionaire who had moved into the old Whitmore estate on the outskirts of town. Rumors swirled around him like a summer storm. Whispers of his fortune and the eccentric lifestyle he led drew both curiosity and scorn. But more importantly, he seemed to keep to himself, choosing solitude as his companion. Lucy felt a pull towards him, an unexpected hope fluttering in her chest. "Mark," she whispered under her breath, testing the name as if it could conjure him closer. She had only seen him at a distance, but the thought of approaching him both excited and terrified her. He could be the miracle they needed. What if he doesn't care? A voice cut through her thoughts, and she spun around to see Mr. Thompson's furrowed brow. "We don't know anything about him." "Maybe he's just waiting for someone to ask," Lucy replied, determination rising in her voice. "If he really has the resources, he could help us bring back the diner." They locked eyes, an understanding forming between them. Finding a way to reach out to Mark was now their mission. The crowd around them filled the air with ideas and plans, but Lucy's mind raced with thoughts of how best to approach such an elusive man. "Let us not overwhelm him," Mr. Thompson said. "He may feel as lost as we are." His voice softened, nostalgia creeping back in. I didn't know anyone back then either until someone reached out to me. Lucy nodded. Then we just have to be authentic. We'll show him why the diner means so much to all of us. Through the evening, they worked on a pitch, pulling stories together, recalling laughter shared over pancakes, families celebrating birthdays, and friends finding comfort over strong coffee. Each moment threaded into a tapestry of the diner's history. Lucy's heart swelled with each memory, thankful for having witnessed so much love and connection there. As they wrapped up, the crowd started to wind down, the excitement morphing into a sense of purpose. Lucy felt a wave of courage wash over her. It was time to find Mark Taylor. "Mr. Thompson, can you come with me tomorrow?" she asked, anticipation rising in her voice. "I'll go to the estate, introduce myself, and see if I can meet him. Will you back me up?" "I'll be there," he replied, a flicker of resolve in his eyes that mirrored her own. Excitement tinged with anxiety kept Lucy awake that night. Visions of the diner's reopening danced through her mind, filled with laughter and the sound of old plates clinking together. She envisioned Mark Taylor stepping through the door, his wide smile lighting up the room. But she also knew the shadows of doubt lingered. What if he refused to help? What if their plea fell on deaf ears? Would she even have a chance to speak to him? The next morning, the sun filtered through the trees, casting warm pools of light on the path she took toward the Whitmore estate. Each step felt monumental, as if she was embarking on a journey towards possibility. When they arrived at the grand entrance, Lucy took a deep breath. She could hear her heartbeat echoing in her ears, the weight of her hope palpable. Just as she raised her hand to knock on the door, it swung open, revealing a confused yet intrigued Mark Taylor. "Can I help you?" he asked, his deep voice thick with curiosity. Her heart raced. This was it. Taking another breath, Lucy stepped forward, ready to pour out her heart. But was her passion enough to break the walls around him? As she opened her mouth to speak, she caught sight of Mr. Thompson beside her, bashfully stepping back, as if waiting for the right moment to intervene. A wave of uncertainty crashed over her. Did they have what it took to change their fate? We want to talk about the diner," Lucy started, her voice trembling. Would this conversation turn the tides, or lead them right back into despair? What would he say? Mark's brow raised slightly, a mix of surprise and intrigue dancing across his face. "The diner?" he echoed, his curiosity igniting. "Yes," Lucy said, forcing herself to stand tall. "It's important to our community. It's not just a place to eat, it holds memories, stories, a piece of who we are." Her words began to spill out, filled with emotion. "We used to gather there, celebrate together. It's a lifeline for so many of us." Mr. Thompson stepped forward, his earlier shyness fading. "It's been closed for too long. We've been trying to keep its spirit alive, but we need help." "We thought," he paused, glancing at Lucy for support. "We thought maybe you could assist us." Mark leaned back slightly, his expression unreadable. He glanced toward the sprawling garden behind him as if searching for answers among the blooming flowers. Lucy felt the silence stretch uncomfortably, anxiety bubbling up in her throat. Would he turn them away? What happened to the diner? Mark finally asked, his voice low and thoughtful. "There was a fire last year," Lucy replied, her heart tightening. "It was devastating. We lost everything, and we've been trying to raise funds to rebuild it. But it's hard when no one seems to care." He nodded slowly, as if weighing her words. "What makes it so special to you?" "Everything," she said, her passion sparking into flame. "The memories, the connections. It's where kids learned to ride their bikes, where couples shared their first date, where families gathered every Sunday. Losing it felt like losing a part of ourselves." Mark's gaze softened, his barrier cracking slightly at the human connection she was sharing. He looked her over, really seeing her for the first time. "And you want my help?" "Yes," Lucy exclaimed, a surge of hope igniting her spirit. "We want to bring it back. Not just for us, but for the community. Together, we can make it better than ever." Mark stood quietly for a moment, the weight of their request settling in the air. "You don't know me. Why do you think I can help?" Mr. Thompson chimed in, because sometimes people need a little push to do the right thing. And maybe you'll find that you have more in common with us than you think. At that, Mark's eyes narrowed with a glint of challenge. Tell me more about this diner. What will I really get by helping? Suddenly, Lucy thought about the people, friends and neighbors who once filled the diner with warmth and laughter. You'll get a chance to connect, she said, a solemnity in her voice. It's about more than just business. It's about community, love, and second chances. Lucy could feel the tension in the air shifting. The wall Mark had built was still there, but cracks were beginning to form. She could sense he was contemplating not just the money he might have to spend, but the legacy he might create. What if I just wanted to be left alone? He asked quietly, the weight of his past finally seeping through. Lucy hesitated, unsure how to answer. But then she felt something vital in her heart twist, an empathy that transcended their differences. Then you've got the chance to change that. You could be someone who connects, who gives others something they desperately need. Mark frowned, looking out over the garden. The sunlight danced on the leaves, almost illuminating his troubled thoughts. And why would that matter to me? Because everyone deserves to feel like they belong, Lucy murmured, her voice soft yet strong. Even you. As those words hung in the air, she noticed a fleeting flicker in his eyes, the stirring of something he had kept hidden for so long. Okay, he said finally, a decision looming but still uncertain. Let us talk about what it will take. Relief flooded Lucy, but deep down, she knew this was just the beginning. Would he really commit to helping them rebuild, or would he pull back into the shadows once again? They stood at the brink, ready to dive into deeper waters. Lucy felt the pulse of possibility race between them, but would it lead to genuine change, or just another empty promise? Let us meet tomorrow, Mark added, an unexpected hint of intrigue in his tone. I'll make a plan, but it won't be easy. Her heart pounding, Lucy realized that their journey was far from over. She exchanged a glance with Mr. Thompson, who smiled encouragingly. What would this partnership bring? And what secrets of Mark's would they uncover along the way? The promise of tomorrow echoed in her mind, but so did the nagging question of fear. Could they really forge a connection that would transform them all? The sun peeked over the horizon the next morning, bathing everything in a warm glow. Lucy stood by her window, her heart racing as she replayed the events of the previous day. Mark's reluctance to dive in made her anxious, but she just had to believe they could make this work. With a quick breakfast and a few deep breaths to calm her nerves, she grabbed her notebook filled with plans for the diner. In her mind, it was more than just a building. It was a beacon of hope. Each corner, each booth, was a piece of their shared history. She clutched it tightly as she headed out. Mr. Thompson was already waiting at the diner site when she arrived. The charred remains still whispered echoes of laughter and joy, but now they stood silent, a canvas waiting to be painted once again. Do you think he'll really show up? Mr. Thompson asked, glancing down the street. I hope so, she replied, her voice steady despite the flutter in her chest. He's a part of this. We just need to find a way to reach him. Just then, she spotted Mark approaching. He looked different this morning, more resolved, with a slight bounce in his step. Lucy felt her breath catch. Was he ready to take this leap with them? Morning, Mark greeted, a hint of a smile softening his features. I thought about what you said. You were right. I don't belong anywhere, but maybe I want to change that. Her heart surged with hope. I'm so glad to hear that. Together, we can make this work. As they stepped onto the rubble-strewn property, Lucy felt an electric excitement in the air. We can start by brainstorming ideas. What do you envision for the diner? Mark's eyes roamed around, taking in the burnt wood and cold concrete. First, we need to get rid of all this bad energy, he murmured, his brow furrowed. We need to bring in light, warmth. Maybe a garden? Something that reminds people of home. Exactly. Lucy's enthusiasm bubbled over. A garden could represent new beginnings. We can plant flowers that bloom in all seasons, highlighting hope. Mark looked at her, surprise flickering in his gaze. You really believe this, don't you? More than anything, she shot back, certainty grounding her voice. We all need a place where we feel safe, where we can be ourselves. Mr. Thompson nodded, love and pride shimmering in his eyes. We could establish food drives and community events. This diner will be more than a restaurant. It can be a hub for everything good in our town. Mark ran a hand through his hair, his mind whirring with possibilities. I can help with the funding, but we need a solid plan. I want this to be something we all care about. Lucy felt her pulse quicken as they hopped from idea to idea. Each suggestion felt like a brushstroke on a fresh canvas. But in the back of her mind, a small worry lingered. How committed would he truly be? As the sun climbed higher, painting their faces in bright light, they scribbled down everything: community dinners, cooking classes, even holiday festivities. Each line filled Lucy with determination. She could see the diner thriving once again, filled with laughter and warmth. Mark grabbed the notepad and added, "What about a memorial wall? For everyone who has a story connected to this diner?" "That's perfect." Lucy beamed. "It will honor our past while welcoming our future." But just as their visions danced together, a shadow flickered in Mark's expression. "There's something I have to tell you." His words cut through the excitement, sending a chill down her spine. "I haven't been completely honest about my past." A knot tightened in Lucy's stomach. What was he hiding? As he looked into her eyes, vulnerability etched on his face. Lucy felt the weight of their connection shift. "I've made mistakes, big ones. I need to be sure this is right before I dive in completely. Whatever it is, we'll face it together," she reassured him, her voice steady. But would Mark allow her in, or would this revelation push him back into his protective shell? Lucy held her breath, waiting for his truth to unfold. Mark hesitated, the silence hanging heavy between them. He looked down at his hands, as if trying to pull the right words from the mess of thoughts swirling in his mind. Lucy waited, her heart pounding, each second stretching like an eternity. "Before I came back here," he finally spoke, his voice low, "I was in a different place, literally and figuratively. I had a good job, a life that seemed perfect on the surface. But I made choices. Bad choices." Lucy didn't interrupt. She could see the struggle in his eyes, the weight of his words crashing against the fragile hope they had begun to build. "I got involved with the wrong people, made a lot of mistakes that hurt not just me but the people around me." He ran a hand through his hair, visibly shaken. "And I left. I thought moving away would put it all behind me, but it doesn't work that way. I thought coming back would help me start fresh, but I'm scared." Her heart softened at his confession. "You're not alone in this, Mark. We all have our struggles. The past doesn't define who you are now. That's what this diner is about: community, support, and growth." Mark met her gaze, something shifting in his expression. "I want to believe that," he murmured, a flicker of hope mingling with fear. "But what if I can't change? What if I'm not cut out to help?" Lucy stepped closer, feeling the air thrum with unspoken understanding. "You're trying already. That's more than a lot of people do. This diner can be your chance, our chance to heal. It's not just about food. It's about creating a space where people can connect, share stories, and find support." The tension in his shoulders eased just a little, but doubt lingered in his eyes. "I want to help, but what if I mess this up?" "After everything, everyone messes up," she said softly. "It's how we learn and grow. You have so much to offer. The heart you showed here today, the heart behind your ideas, it matters. Your past doesn't disqualify you from being part of this future." Mark's breathing steadied, and he searched her face, longing and fear intertwined. "And what if I bring that past with me? What if I can't shake it? Then we face it together. This community can support you as you grow." She felt the warmth of her own determination pouring into her words, and she hoped he could sense it too, the shared strength they could build. "You're already here, ready to rebuild. That shows you care." He held her gaze for a moment longer, vulnerability replaced with a glimmer of resolve. "You really believe we can do this, don't you?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "More than anything," she replied, her heart swelling with newfound confidence. Just then, Mr. Thompson approached, a wide smile lighting up his weathered face. I just got off the phone with some local contractors. They're excited to help us start the design tomorrow. Lucy and Mark shot glances at each other, shared excitement bubbling to the surface. But before they could dive into planning, Mark's expression darkened once more. There's one more thing. Lucy's stomach tightened. What else could there be? I haven't just been running away from my mistakes. I'm running towards something. And I don't know if I'm brave enough for it. He paused, taking a shaky breath. I think I might be the one who could sabotage everything. His weighty words hung in the air, and Lucy clenched her fists, determination igniting within her. Would he choose to embrace the new beginnings or turn away once again? The moment was fragile as a whisper, and Lucy felt her heart race. What truth lay just beyond his guarded thoughts? Mark, please tell me you want to give up. Not now, not when we're finally building something real. His eyes flickered with uncertainty, the tension thickening around them. What awaited them on this unpredictable journey? Would they find the strength to face it together? Mark stepped back, the weight of his confession settling like a heavy fog. Lucy's heart raced, caught between hope and despair. She could see the struggle etched on his face, the way his jaw clenched slightly, fighting back whatever ghosts lingered in his past. What do you mean you could sabotage everything? Lucy asked, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. What are you running toward? Is it another job? Another chance at something? He hesitated, eyes darting away as if searching for answers in the worn floorboards of the diner. It's complicated, he admitted, a mix of shame and resolve lacing his tone. There's a chance I might have an opportunity to invest in a business venture with some people from my past. The words hung in the air, buzzing with unspoken tension. Lucy took a step closer, wanting to bridge the gap between them, to pull him back from whatever ledge he stood on. But they're the same people you said led you astray, Mark. Are you really willing to go back to that? It's not that simple. He snapped, his frustration bubbling to the surface. This could be my chance to prove myself, to show that I'm capable of more than just running away. But at what cost? Lucy replied, her heart aching for him. What if it pulls you back into that life? You've just made so much progress. Do you want to throw that away? Mark looked at her then, and for a moment, their eyes locked, each searching for understanding. He saw the concern etched on her face in soft lines and furrowed brows. It was a reflection of his own fear, mirrored back at him. I don't want to mess this up, not with you, not with this diner. But I also don't want to lose my chance. His voice was a whisper now, vulnerability evident in every word. Lucy took a deep breath, feeling the tremor in her chest. You don't have to choose between your past and your future. You can build a future here, together. This diner, the community, it's a path forward. Mark's expression softened, but doubt lingered like a shadow. It's easy to say that when you haven't lived what I have. There are pieces of me that are broken. Maybe I'm not meant for this. No, she said more fiercely than she intended. You are. Your past doesn't mean you can't create something beautiful now. We're all a little broken. That's how we grow. He looked away, conflicted, and she could see the battle raging within him. It was palpable, and it pulled at her heart. Mark, what if I told you I believe in you? What if I told you that I see the potential in you, even when you can't see it yourself? At her words, Mark's gaze softened, as if she had opened a door he thought was locked forever. You really think I have what it takes? Her answer was immediate, her voice firm and clear. Absolutely. You have the heart and the determination to help others. Use the don't let your past control you. They stood there, the world outside bustling away in the background, but all that mattered was the moment between them, fragile, yet filled with potential. Then Mr. Thompson piped up again, breaking the intense silence. If I could get a volunteer to help with the plans tomorrow, we'd be in for a big step forward. His cheerfulness infused the air, dispelling some of the heaviness hanging around them. Mark turned towards him, but Lucy hesitated, knowing she needed to put her faith in his hands. Just think about it, okay? She urged softly. You're not alone anymore, Mark. Let us help you. He nodded slowly, still wrestling with his doubts, but something stirred in him, a spark, a flicker of light in the daunting darkness of his past. As the three of them stood together, a new energy began to pulse through the diner, a promise of the future waiting to unfold. But as they began discussing designs and ideas, Lucy sensed an unresolved tension in Mark's gaze. "Mark," she started, but he held up a hand, motioning for her to wait. There was something more he still hadn't shared, and the glimmer in his eyes hinted at a revelation waiting to break free. What was it that lay beneath his uncertainty? What truth remained hidden that could change everything? Mark took a deep breath, his fingers rubbing the back of his neck as uncertainty clouded his expression. The air felt thick around them, as if waiting for the revelation he still hesitated to voice. He glanced at Mr. Thompson, who was busily sketching plans on a napkin, then back at Lucy. "Before I make any decisions," his voice was barely above a whisper, but the weight of his words held power. "There is something you should know about my past. Something that still haunts me." Lucy's heart sank, but she pressed on. "Whatever it is, we can face it together. Just tell me." Mark surveyed the room, as if searching for the right words hidden in the cracked walls and faded photographs. "Those people I mentioned, they were more than just bad influences. I was part of something dangerous. I broke laws, Lucy. I made choices that hurt people." Her brow furrowed. "Mark, everyone has a past. What matters is who you are now." "It's not that simple," he said, shaking his head. "What if they come back for me? Or what if I go back to them?"
"I am scared, Lucy."
"Scared that I'm not the man you think I am." She stepped closer, desperation tightening around her chest. She wanted to reach out, to assure him somehow that he was worthy of a second chance. "You're not alone in this. You can break free from that life. You've shown so much courage to come this far." "Courage?" He scoffed, a bitter laugh escaping him. "What if I fail? What if I throw it all away, not just for me, but for you too? Then we figure it out together," Lucy insisted, her voice tinged with urgency. "You don't believe in yourself, but I do. You're capable of so much more than you realize." Mark's gaze softened momentarily, but doubt remained a stubborn shadow. "If they knew I was here, working in this diner, living this life, then let them come." She shot back, determination seeping into her words. "You're not that person anymore. You have the chance to be someone better." He paused, letting her words sink in, and for a heartbeat the world around them faded into silence. It was just the two of them, two souls wrestling with shadows but yearning for light. "Do you really think I can change?" His voice was small, childlike in its innocence. "Yes," she replied without hesitation, a surge of hope flooding her veins. "You already have. Just look at all you've achieved since you came back. You've helped this diner thrive. You've connected with the community. You can keep going, it's in your hands." Mark looked down, the tension in his shoulders easing just a bit, then back up, his expression shifting to something softer, more vulnerable. "I want to believe you. Then believe in what we're building. It's not just about a diner. It's about a future. Your future." As Mark absorbed her words, the door swung open, and a rush of cold air swept in alongside a few regulars. The cheerful ringing of the bell distracted them, a reminder of the world that still moved outside. But even as the everyday chaos entered, a new understanding settled between Mark and Lucy. "Okay," he finally said, his voice steadier. "I'll think about volunteering tomorrow." A grin broke across Lucy's face, a light returning to her heart. "That's a start, but I think your journey has already begun." But as they turned back to their plans, Mark's phone buzzed on the table, shattering the fleeting moment. He glanced at it, a shadow of concern creeping back over his features. The name flashing on the screen sent a chill rippling through him. "Maybe it's those people," he murmured, dread dawning on him. Lucy's heart raced. "Who is it?" Mark's eyes shifted back to her, uncertainty rippling across his face. "It's a name I thought I had left behind." As he reached for the phone, the weight of his past loomed larger than ever, and Lucy held her breath, knowing that this moment could change everything. Would he answer? Would he risk it all again, just when he began to see a glimmer of hope? Mark's hand hovered above the buzzing phone, the familiar name haunting him. Memories flickered in his mind like old film reels, stolen moments of laughter mixed with reckless nights and choices that had closed in on him like a vice. A lump formed in his throat. This was a decision with weight, a crossroads that could lead him back or push him forward. "Mark, it's your call," Lucy noted quietly, her eyes drilling a hole through the veil of his indecision. "But remember, you don't have to do this." He glanced at her, but his thoughts collided. Did he want to ignore his past or confront it? Some part of him longed to slam the door shut, to keep the bad influences at bay, while another part urged him to seek closure. The world outside hustled and bustled around them, creating a sense of urgency. Gathering his resolve, he picked up the phone, ignoring the way his heart fluttered nervously. I should answer," he muttered, anticipating the confrontation, yet fearing the revelation. There was so much unknown tied to that name, so much darkness. "Just remember," Lucy said, her voice steady. "I'm right here with you." With a deep breath, he pressed accept, and the world around him blurred. "Hello?" he said, disbelief tinging his voice. "Mark," came the gravelly voice from the other end, thick with a self-satisfaction that made his skin crawl. "Thought we lost you, buddy. Missed our little family gatherings." Swallowing hard, Mark attempted to remain calm, but felt a surge of adrenaline rush through him. "I'm not interested." He could hear Lucy's breath sharp behind him. "Oh, come now. You might want to reconsider that. I know things have been rough, but we could help each other, just like the old days. You're wasting your potential in that diner. There's a whole world out there, and we could have fun again." "Fun?" Mark nearly laughed, but there was no humor in the tone. Just pain, just memories he'd rather forget. Lucy took a small step closer, her presence quiet but powerful, grounding him in the moment. "You think I want to go back to that life?" he asked, voice rising slightly. "That world is a mess. I want nothing to do with it anymore."
Is that so?
The voice was mocking, a predator drawn to the scent of a wounded animal. "Well, you know life doesn't always work out the way we plan. You've got real talent, Mark. Are you really going to throw it all away for some dreams about a future?"
Huh.
"Think about it." A silence hung in the air, painfully stretched. Mark's heart raced as the man continued, weaving his manipulative words like a web. The shadows of his past wrapped around him, making it difficult to breathe.
"Don't you see?"
he pressed. "You can be back in the game, back in the spotlight. You could be making real money instead of slinging burgers." Mark's vision blurred with frustration. His hands shook slightly as he wrestled with the fear of slipping back into the person he used to be. "I'm not that person anymore," he insisted. "Sure about that? What do you have now? A diner? What happens when your money runs out? How do you plan to take care of yourself? And that girl? She's not going to wait for you." Mark felt a rush of anger. Lucy was not an afterthought. But was he strong enough to keep her out of this? Could he stand his ground? As he opened his mouth to respond, Lucy squeezed his arm gently, her touch igniting a flame within him. He caught a glimpse of her unwavering faith displayed in her eyes, and suddenly, clarity washed over him. "I'm done living in fear of my past," he said firmly. "I'm not going back to the life you know. I'm building a new one, and I'm not afraid anymore." There was a pause. "You'll regret this, Mark. Be careful what you wish for." The call ended, leaving an echo of silence ringing in his ears. Mark sagged slightly, the adrenaline fading. He had made a choice, but the consequences loomed. "Are you okay?" Lucy's voice was tender, laced with concern. He nodded, though doubt twisted in his gut. "I didn't want to be dragged back into that world. I thought I could just cut ties. But sometimes," she said softly, "the ties have a way of cutting themselves when we stand strong enough." Mark's heart fluttered at her words. Despite the heaviness of the moment, hope flickered within him. But within that burdened hope, a new urgency stirred. He had just cut the strings, but how long would it be until they snapped back, forcing him to confront everything he had tried to leave behind? Would this truly be enough to keep him free? "Lucy, what if they come after me?" he said, the question more a reflection of his fear than his hope. Lucy took a deep breath, determination shimmering in her eyes. Then we fight them together. But first let us strategize. You're worth fighting for. As they stepped toward the plans laid out before them, a looming shadow hung in the air. Change was at their doorstep, but would they be ready to embrace it? Or would the ghosts of the past return to haunt them both? The sun cast its golden rays over Maplewood, coaxing the autumn leaves into an ecstatic dance. Lucy stood outside the freshly painted Sarah's diner, her heart swelling with pride. The smell of fresh paint mingled with the crispness of the air, a reminder that new beginnings were everywhere if you only dared to see. Mark was at her side, adjusting the freshly hung sign that now read Grand Reopening. Everyone is welcome. His hand shook slightly, but there was a newfound confidence in his expression. This moment feels surreal, he whispered, glancing around as townsfolk gathered, their faces bright with anticipation. It's real, Lucy replied, a radiant smile illuminating her face. It's all real now. Over the past few weeks, they had worked tirelessly. With Mr. Thompson's unwavering support, they had transformed the charred remnants of their beloved diner into a thriving community hub once more. The diner had become symbolic, a beacon of resilience, hope, and connection. As people began to trickle in, Lucy felt a familiar surge of joy. Hearts that had once been fractured were coming together, filling the diner with chatter and laughter. Friends embraced, children dashed towards their favorite booths, and the air thick with the scent of pancakes, coffee, and sweet cinnamon rolls. It felt like home again. Mark stood in awe, taking it all in, the love spilling forth from the community, planting seeds of vitality within him. He was no longer the man with a troubled past. He was part of something alive and thriving. "I didn't think this was possible," he murmured, his eyes glistening with unspilled tears. Lucy placed her hand on his shoulder, grounding him. "You did this, Mark. You believed." Just then, the door swung open, and there stood Sarah, her face a picture of disbelief. She held a tray laden with cookies, and her eyes widened at the sight of the diner full of life again. "What is going on?" she asked, a melt of disbelief and hope radiating from her. "Sarah," Lucy called, rushing over to hug her mother tightly. "We did it. The diner is back." Her mother stepped back, a mix of pride and relief welling up inside her. "Incredible. I can't believe this day has finally come." As everyone invited their friends and families, the joyous atmosphere expanded. Mark found himself wrapped in gratitude, even as he realized he had become a part of something bigger than himself. Their struggles, the late-night planning, the phone conversations that tested his resolve had forged a new identity for him. "Here's to new beginnings," Mr. Thompson bellowed from the corner, raising a glass of lemonade. Laughter echoed, a symphony of community in full swing. And then, the moment arrived. The buzzing crowd turned their attention to Lucy. She climbed onto her makeshift stage, her heart racing with excitement. "Everyone," she called, suddenly feeling the weight of their expectant gazes. "Thank you for being here. This diner belongs to all of us. It's a place for memories, for love, and for rebuilding what we thought we had lost." The crowd erupted into applause, clapping and cheering for her bravery. "Lucy, you're our hero," someone shouted from the back. Her cheeks flushed with warmth. Then Mark joined her. As Lucy said, "Sarah's Diner is more than just a place to eat, it's a testament to resilience, to second chances. We all have pieces of our past, but together we can create something beautiful." There it was, the heart of the diner shining through the worries and challenges. People were not merely patrons, they were family. The din of conversation softened, and Mark's voice steadied. "I know what it means to feel lost and alone, but I've learned that each person here matters. We all contribute to this community. Together, we're bigger than our struggles." Cheers erupted, and they raised their glasses higher, creating an intoxicating mix of optimism and joy that crisscrossed through the diner. As the festivities continued, Lucy caught Mark's gaze across the room, his eyes reflective and full of promise. He approached with renewed meaning, a softness in his voice. "Thank you for believing in me, for helping me grow and showing me the light. You really made me see that we don't need to run away from our past, but instead find strength in it." She smiled, tears of joy welling up. "And thank you for sharing your strength, for taking the leap of faith. We're going to do amazing things here together." As the sun dipped below the horizon, the last rays of light flickered upon the diner, a warm embrace wrapping them in hope. This was just the beginning. As they gathered around the tables filled with laughter, stories, and love, Lucy knew Dr. King was right. We can't walk alone. Together, they would create a legacy like the flicker of a candle lighting the dark. Before she turned away to join her friends, she felt the glow of connection, the pulse of togetherness echoing in her heart. This was the town of Maplewood, reborn, united in hope and unwavering spirit. And in this moment, Lucy, Mark, and Mr. Thompson knew that they would fight for their shared future together, each step a testament to their powerful transformation. Now more than ever, Lucy could feel the importance of community. As the voices soared with laughter, she uttered softly, "Let us never forget our roots, the heart of our stories. Together, we're unstoppable." And they would always be, because hope, love, and resilience would carry them through anything. Now, it's your turn to step into the light. You need to subscribe now so you won't miss exclusive stories like this. Leave a like right now because your support fuels this channel and spreads these positive vibes. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this beautiful ending. Did it touch your heart like it did mine? Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need this inspiration. Don't wait not even one more second. True fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.